It was billed as the ultimate game changer in warfare, a cutting-edge robot tank that would render old-school, armored vehicles obsolete and dominate the deadliest battlefields, without risking a single soldier's life. But Russia's Ura-9 turned into a total bust, embarrassing Vladimir Putin and exposing the hype as hot air. What started as a bold leap into the future of robotic combat ended in epic failure. Stick around as we dive into how this multi-million-dollar dud went from world beater to laughingstock, and why it's nowhere to be seen in Russia's grinding war in Ukraine. Picture this: a sleek, unmanned beast rolling into battle, packing enough firepower to take out tanks and troops from afar, all while keeping human operators safe miles away. That's what Russia promised with the Ura-9, their so-called robot tank. Back in 2015, they kicked off development on this thing, pulling in big names like JSC 766 UPTK and the folks at Kalashnikov. Yeah, the same ones behind the famous AK-47. The whole project was under the watchful eye of Rostec, Russia's massive state-run defense giant, from day one right up to now. At its core, the Ura-9 is a tracked unmanned combat ground vehicle, or UCGV for short. In plain speak, it's a remote-controlled tank that doesn't need a crew inside. No driver, no gunner, just a robot doing the dirty work. This isn't some wild sci-fi idea. Militaries everywhere are chasing similar tech. The goal? Send robots into the hot zones to scout, fight, and soak up enemy fire without losing lives. Experts figure that down the road, these machines could handle a big chunk of the fighting, maybe even turning wars into robot vs. robot showdowns, sparing soldiers from the front lines. Russia wanted to jump ahead of the pack. They rolled out the Ura-9 in late 2016 with massive fanfare, pumping millions into it and touting it as the dawn of next-gen warfare. Putin himself gave it a thumbs up, and it was marketed like crazy as a must-have for modern armies. One top exec at Rosoboronexport, Russia's arms export arm, bragged about it back then. Boris Samakin, who heads up their analysis and planning shop, said something like, "We've got the chops to build top-tier military robots that'll fly off the shelves globally. This market's exploding, so we're gearing up a solid strategy to push these systems, even bundling them into bigger security packages." They weren't kidding about the hype. The Ura-9 came loaded with serious gear, a 30-meter automatic cannon for blasting away, a 7.62-meter machine gun riding shotgun, and Ataka missiles to punch through enemy armor. Plus, it was modular, so you could swap weapons for different jobs. On top of that, it had laser alerts to spot incoming threats, and fancy sensors for detecting, IDing, and locking onto targets super quick. The devs claimed it could handle recon and fire support for infantry, scouts and anti-terror squads, slashing casualties big time. Specs look solid too, over 16 feet long, tipping the scales at 12 tons, hitting 22 mph on pavement and 15 off-road. Armor tough enough to shrug off shrapnel and bullets. And get this, it had some smarts built in, so if the remote link glitched, it could navigate out of trouble on its own. On paper, it screamed revolutionary, a smart, tough robot ready to flip warfare upside down, and it wasn't just talk. Things moved fast. By late 2016, Russia's TASS Newswire reported the military was getting 20 of these bad boys. 5 kits, each with 4 combat units for recon or firepower, a command truck, and transporters. Boom. Russia looked like it was leading the robot arms race. Then, in 2017, international buzz kicked in. Myanmar's army brass flew over for demos of the Ura-9, along with other bots like the Ura-6 for clearing mines and the Ura-14 for odd jobs. Word was Myanmar was eyeing a buy, and it could have sparked a wave of deals. Russia pitched it to spots like Saudi Arabia, India, Serbia, and the UAE, figuring exports would roll in. But man, did reality bite hard. Fast forward to 2018, and the Ura-9 got its first real test in Syria's civil war mess. After all that build-up, folks expected rave reviews of it shredding foes. Nope. Instead, a brutal internal report ripped it apart. A.P. Anisimov, a senior researcher at Russia's Third Central Research Institute under the Defense Ministry, laid it all out at a big conference in St. Petersburg. No sugarcoating. This thing flopped spectacularly. First off, comms were a nightmare. In cities with short buildings, operators could only control it from 300 to 500 meters away, about 1,000 to 1,600 feet. Push further and poof, signal gone. That killed its urban warfare vibe, even though promoters swore it'd shine there. Operators had to keep hustling closer, risking their hides just to babysit the bot. And outages? 17 short ones up to a minute, plus 2 marathon drops lasting an hour and a half. Unreliable doesn't even cover it. In a real fight, you can't afford gear that ghosts you mid-battle. But wait, there's more. Even the basics tanked. The chassis, rollers, guides, suspension springs couldn't hack prolonged ops. Constant breakdowns meant field fixes under fire, which is a death wish. Soldiers need reliable tools, not lemons that strand them. Then the recon smarts? Total bust. Those high-tech optics were supposed to spot targets miles out, but nope. Max 2 kilometers, about 1.2 miles. The main optical station couldn't even pick up enemy spotters in range. Worse, it hallucinated threats, flagging random stuff as hostiles. So, not only was it glitchy and fragile, but blind and paranoid too. Anisimov kept piling on. Weapons? The 30mm cannon jammed 6 times with delays plus 1 full outage. Unacceptable. You fire, it better go boom every time. And here's a doozy. No stabilization. It could only shoot parked. Modern tanks fire on the move. This relic had to halt, making it drone bait in today's skies where UAVs pick off sitters like fish in a barrel. Bottom line from Anisimov, Russian UGVs like this weren't ready for prime time. Not even close to handling real combat gigs. Russia tried to spin it. Kept shopping the Uran 9 abroad, even dangling discounts and trade-ins for Myanmar, like swapping old T-34s for new bots. But after checking it out, Myanmar passed. Hard. Still, with so much sunk cost, the Kremlin wouldn't quit. In 2019, they bizarrely greenlit it for service anyway. Kalashnikov's CEO, Vladimir Dmitriev, told TASS they were wrapping the first batch, hyping its potential for upgrades. He claimed Syria tests flagged fixes for range, speed, and data links. Insiders said tweaks were coming. But was it smoke? Another report soon dropped, this from BAE Systems, Britain's defense heavyweight. They dissected UGVs worldwide, zeroing in on the Uran 9. Echoed Anisimov spot on. Couldn't spot foes past 1.25 miles. Sensors worthless while moving. No stabilization. Big lags in firing. Super vulnerable to jamming and blackouts. Unreliable across the board. Their verdict? These bots need another decade or more to get good at complex stuff. So, inside and out, the Uran 9 got torched. Comms flaky, eyes weak, guns iffy, wheels junk. Every bit a fail. Yet Russia won't own it. No admissions of screw-ups, just more spin despite blowing billions of rubles over years. And sales? Zip. No confirmed buyers globally, even after Middle East and Asia pitches. Worse, in Ukraine since 2022's invasion, where's the Uran 9? Maye. If it was half as good as claimed, it'd be leading charges in tough spots like Donetsk or Luhansk, storming holdouts like Pokrovsk that stalled Russian gains for months. But nah, absent. Instead, Russia's scraping barrels, hauling dusty old tanks from mothballs, jury-rigging Soviet relics into troop haulers to plug massive losses. On robots, frontline grunts get scraps, homebrew bots from hobbyists and volunteers, not game changers. Take the Courier, started in a garage, now military issue. It hauls grenades, RPGs, missiles, machine guns. Versatile, sure, but no Uran 9 revolution. Just stopgaps. Overall, Uran 9's a classic Russian overpromise, underdeliver. Putin and ex-defense minister Shoigu paraded it like a world beater, dreaming of robot dominance and fat export checks. Reality? A flop, as one defense outlet nailed it. A case study in failure. Will they fix it? Maybe learn and tweak core flaws for a real UGV someday. But Russia's track record? Hype bombs like the T-90M tanks that got smoked in Ukraine despite best-ever claims, or the Admiral Nakhimov cruiser back after decades, risking nuke meltdowns. Same old blunders. If you're into this, check videos on those T-90 wipeouts or Nakhimov breakdowns. And hey, hit subscribe to catch the latest on Ukraine, frontline scoops, peace buzz, weapon drops. Stay sharp out there.